In this lesson, we are going to start learning how to solve two-step equations, which are exactly what they sound like. They're algebraic equations, which you can solve in just two simple steps. The example we're going to use is the equation 2x plus 2 equals 12. What it means to solve the equation for x means we're going to find the number that x represents. So when we're done, we should have something that looks like this. X equals, on one side, x all by itself, and then on the other side, we'll have some number. To get x all alone without any numbers on the other side, we're going to manipulate or change both sides of the equation until we get it to look like that. One thing that's really important when we do math is the golden rule of math. It's like the golden rule for people. If you've ever heard someone say, don't do something to others unless you'd want it done to yourself. In math, don't do anything to one side of the equation unless you're going to do it to the other side of the equation. So we'll remember that as we go through this lesson today. The first step in solving a two-step equation is to add or subtract the non-x term from whatever side of the equation has your x on it. So in this case, on the left side of the equation, we have our x term. And the first thing we want to do is just get rid of this 2 over here. So that all we have left is 2x. How we're going to do that is we're just going to subtract 2 from both sides. It's that simple. So we have 2x plus 2 minus 2, just writing it all out so it's super clear, equals 12 minus 2. Again, doing it to both sides of the equation. What that gives us then is 2x equals 12 minus 2, which is 10. And now we're in really good shape to go on to the next step of solving the two-step equation. And that second step is to isolate x, which means get it all on its own, by dividing. And the number that we're going to divide both sides by in this case is going to be 2. And you'll see why in just a second. So we have 2x divided by 2 equals 10 divided by 2. Again, doing it both sides. That's very important. And why this works is that we get to cancel out both 2's in this fraction. And then we are just left with, on the left side, x, which is what we wanted, right? That's what we looked at in the beginning. We want x equals some number. So we get x equals 10 divided by 2, which is the same as x equals 5. And we have now solved our two-step equation in just those two really quick, really simple steps. The first step again is to add or subtract your number from whatever side has x on it, and then divide by whatever number is attached to x. And then the bonus step is to check your work. And how we check our work is we plug in our 5 for x into our original equation to see if we get 12 out. So our original equation was 2x plus 2 equals 12. So we're going to replace x with 5. 2x plus 2. So what does this equal? Well, 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. And so we know we are right. Checking your work is super important. Okay, any questions on this?
Yeah, why do we have to add and subtract first instead of, why can't we just divide?
That's a great question. So you can divide first if you want to, that's okay, but it's going to be a little bit more messy at first. And when you're learning this as a new concept, you want to just add or subtract first because it makes it a little bit easier. It's less messy. If you were to divide something that has both the x and the addition of another number in it, it just gets a little bit more tricky. It's not as easy to divide a full term like that has addition and subtraction in it, if that makes sense. Yeah, especially if this is an odd number, then we need a decimal, and that's just kind of icky. We don't want that yet. Great. Okay, so now we're going to learn a song to help us remember how to solve the two-step equation. This is from Cha-Cha Slide. Are you all familiar with Cha-Cha Slide? Okay, great. So I'm going to sing it, and then we'll do it all together. Okay. 1, 2, solve for x. 2 steps. Solve for x now, y'all. 2 steps this time. Right side, let's add. Left side, let's add. Right side, subtract. Left side, subtract. 2 steps, divide. Divide both sides. Freeze. Everybody check your work. Okay, all together. 1, 2, solve for x. 2 steps. Solve for x now, y'all. 2 steps this time. Right side, let's add. Left side, let's add. Right side, subtract. Left side, subtract. Step 2, divide. Divide both sides. Freeze. Everybody check your work. Yay!